Hey guys, Coach Logan here, picking up in the middle of a game, but this is versus, this guy is 2392, he's pretty strong. He won the first game we played, so let's see if I can win this one. Alright, so we got a Scandinavian, play d4, okay, there's a new one, e5. Alright, I think I gotta take that. Alright, we'll play bishop to d2, knight f3. Bishop c4. Alright, he's got some pressure coming down. So can I trap that knight in the corner? I'm gonna attack the rook. Maybe I should have gone bishop e3. So this knight has an escape. It can go knight to b3 check. But the problem is then they could only get to d4 with the assistance of that rook. So maybe if I could, for instance, play like bishop e3, then I could take away the d4 square, which maybe I should have done. I just saw them playing knight b3 and I needed a tempo move, but bishop e3 looks better. He might still throw knight b3 here. But yeah, I think if I can get bishop e3 and then the knight actually does have a hard time getting out. So let's do that. Bishop e3, and my argument is that this knight will have some difficulty escaping. Okay, so let's go king b1. They have knight b3, but now I can play king c2 and they can't go to e4, or sorry, to d4, so I think I should be up in this endgame here. I certainly didn't handle the opening very well, that's for sure. Okay, let's take this. And he does not have an entry square. My pawn structure is kind of shot to heck here, but still I like this. Okay, let's go rook f1. I think I actually don't want to trade rooks here, because his rook is a little bit of what you'd call a superfluous rook. It's kind of redundant with his other one. Now I'm threatening knight to d6. Threatening, I mean, I don't know, it's not exactly going to win me the game or anything. Alright, now I gotta trade rooks because he's attacking e3, so... Alright, let's go knight to d6 check here, and then knight b5, and I'm attacking his pawns. Okay, should I take that? Does my knight get trapped like I trapped his knight? I'm threatening c6, and it's not so easy for him to deal with that. How is he going to defend c6? I don't see a way. Excuse me. Okay. Let's play b5 and super secure my knight there. Next I sort of overprotected my knight, so now I can play rook to d3 check. I'm attacking his king. Alright, let's go knight to d4. I'm threatening e6. Yeah, these knights are... well, his king is not going to be too happy with these knights. Do I have mate here? Rook to d8, king to b7, and then rook to b8, I think, is checkmate. So, yeah, that's checkmate. Okay, alright, so an interesting game. I got some revenge because he beat me in the first game. I definitely didn't play the opening well, that's for darn sure. Let me, I meant to analyze that game, so let's go back to it and go to the analysis. Alright, we gotta clear all this junk out of the way. Self-analysis, show lines. Okay, so he played, let's Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go. All right. He played a Scandinavian, which is one of those openings that's sort of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a B tier opening. It's not the same level as like the Sicilian or just classically E5, or even it's not really even on the same level as like the French or the Caro-Kann. But at the same time, structurally, black is extremely solid. So if white does not, make something happen with his lead in development, I think black will be totally justified here. I mean, Magnus has played this several times. In fact, he even beat Caruana in a classical game with the Scandinavian, so I think it's a mistake to underestimate it. Knight c3, queen a5, d4, and here he went e5, which I'm unfamiliar with as a move, so I guess I took kind of like hastily. I think taking is good, but I just assumed he was going to take back with the queen after like bishop e2. I figured my lead in development should be pretty significant here. But he just played for rapid development with bishop b4, so I went bishop d2, knight f3, and then bishop c4 was probably bad. I think bishop e2 would have been better, or immediately hitting this bishop. Bishop c4, now he castles, and I would argue his lead in development here is actually pretty critical. I went a3, he played knight to d4, which is a mistake. He should have just taken, I take, and now I think knight takes e5, and this looks just awful for me. What can I even play? Bishop e2, bishop takes f3, and then if I take, now I think, yeah, knight f6, and I guess rook e8 is coming, or knight c4 is coming. Like if I castle here, for instance, I think knight... okay, knight takes f3, they're pointing out, is quite strong, because I can't take back with the queen, because I'd be hanging my bishop on d2, I'd have to take this way. Just one look at my king and my pawn structure and my pinned bishop here, this looks pretty terrible. I was wondering if also knight to c4 was anything, but maybe here, okay, the queen b1, okay, that's the resource, you're threatening b7, so maybe it's not so clear, but knight takes f3 looks good enough. Anyway, knight to d4 was terrible. That allowed a takes b4. He went for this, where he's actually up in exchange, but his knight is sort of caught in the corner here. So after king c1, bishop e6, takes. Here I played a bad move. I went bishop g5. Maybe not a bad move, but it's not optimal. Basically what's going on here is his knight is almost trapped, except for it can play knight to b3 and then knight to d4. But if I play bishop e3, I take away the d4 square. So now his knight, even if he gets like knight b3, and after king to c2, he's still trapped because of this pawn on b4. So I should have played bishop e3. Instead, I went for bishop g5, which was not the best. He went rook d7, which was also not the best. He should have gone knight b3 check here, and then after king c2, he's in time for knight d4, so he should just be winning. But bishop e3 was better. Anyway, I went bishop g5, he went rook d7, now bishop e3. So now I should be better again. And he missed a chance to try to help his knight. I was thinking he was going to do something like this, play like pawn to a5 to sort of send it on a rescue mission for this knight. I could still play b5, but after b6, his knight at least will get to c5. Now, he'll still... let's say king b1 here, knight b3, and then king c2. After knight c5 and bishop takes c5, b takes c5, he'd be up in exchange, although I would have... his pawns would be absolutely horrible. For instance, after knight e4, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to probably be taking this pawn on over here on c5. I mean, if he plays something like rook to d5, now, okay, my rook can slide over, and then I probably take this pawn on a5. And white actually has compensation here. I mean, black's pawns are really ruptured, and white's knights are quite good, so it's not like it's game over, but that would have been best for him. Instead, he went knight e7, and just his knight just got trapped, and this is just winning for me, and I think I was able to convert without too much difficulty. Yeah. And here his king is just really in a tough spot. A rook and two knights versus a naked king is not going to end well for him. This case was no different. Alright, choppy game. Really kind of sloppy in the opening. I think after bishop b4... bishop d2. Alright, what do they want? They think knight f3, but bishop d2 was reasonable. I think my first really bad move was bishop c4. A3 seems like a much more natural response. Just put pressure on this bishop. You really have to go for them before they're ready to consolidate. I mean, here it's kind of a weird Scandinavian because he sacked the pawn to try to speed up his development. But now after A3, I think Engine's saying bishop takes f3, queen takes f3. Now it's given him just trying to win his pawn back, but bare minimum here I can trade queens, at which point I think this is basically a bishop pair for absolutely nothing, which is a very pleasant advantage. Maybe even a winning advantage. I mean, it's a little bit hard to say in a position like this, but every good player here I think would like white. So, alright, interesting stuff. I will see you guys next video.